Thank you everyone for taking the time to tune in today. Today's episode of the Topping Show is proudly sponsored by Topping Technologies. Topping Technologies is an IT value-added reseller and services company with a special proficiency IT security. Heck, I see their founder at least twice a day. Gotta say he's quite handsome and brilliant. He's me, see, that's the joke. If you're an IT leader or business owner, you can reach out to the team at sales@toppingtechnologies.com. Also, we're still giving away a free flamethrower with every IT purchase. Yes, it does come with a fun Picatinny rail adapter, so you can mount it to any standard AR-15 like all awesome accessories can be. Go to toppingtechnologies.com and click the flamethrower button to learn more, or click the URL in the video description below. Lastly, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you can click that button and tell your friends, I would greatly appreciate it. Now going over to the business part podcast, you have the cheapest sports cars for sale in 2025, though disclaimer, the dealerships might ruin a couple of these picks. Now this comes with thanks to Motor1.com. And appropriately enough, they have the Subaru BRZ on the headliner there, which, if it was reliable, would be a pretty good buy. It looks pretty stylish, but, that's just me. Now, this is accredited to thanks to Jeff Perez. And specifically, he says, quote, apologies. Affordability is a sliding scale, especially when the average price of a new car these days is around $50,000. That said, there's still a bunch of fun vehicles out there that can be snagged for well under that average, even a few at just around $30,000. For 2025, we picked a handful of sports cars, sporty sedans, we'll skip those, and even a few hatchbacks that cost less than $50K. Many of these vehicles come from brands that you know and love like Honda, Mazda, and Toyota, with icons like Miata and relative newcomers like the GR Corolla making the cut. Now, the first one, appropriately named, is the Mazda Miata MX5, which, again, bang for your buck, you really can't beat that for a fun track toy and a daily driver. There might be some limitations if you have a family or a couple extra pets. Well, personally, my pet Rock will fit in that car quite fine, but if you have anything above a Taco Bell dog, probably going to be a little difficult squeezing in there, the two of you. But yeah, bang for your buck, the best track toy too. I mean, the consumables are very affordable, aka the brake pads, you got the tires, all the things that wear out most frequently at a track. Any oil changes on thing, and probably uses half a cup of oil. I'm kidding, obviously. It uses a little bit more than that, but yeah, there's a reason Spec Miata is a real race category. Is a great track toy, and still kicking myself for not buying a cheap one when I was a kid. Back in my day, you can get them on Craigslist for a couple grand. I'd always think, who'd want these? It's a girl car. Then, go to the track and a circuit track, and pretty much every guy out there will tell you, yep, the best bang for a buck, especially if you want to get into racing. I mean, shoot, cannot beat a 90s or a 2000 era Mazda Miata. If you have the bankroll for a new car, shoot, Miata is not too bad. It's at $30,515 before the extortion tax or, registration fee, wherever you lived. It says it comes with a 2-liter 4-cylinder with manual transmission, 181 horsepower, and 151 foot-pound of torque, which, the 6-speed is standard on that, which, again, keeping the third pedal alive, I love Mazda for doing that. Haven't had the privilege of owning Mazda in my lifetime yet, but it's on the bucket list, especially, someday. I mean, who wouldn't want an RX-7? Or even debatably, the cool, suicide door RX-8. Now, going back to number 2, you got Toyota GR6, which, spoiler, it's also the Subaru BRZ, same assembly line. It's both a Subaru engine. They just do badge sharing because it's a joint collaboration. Now, in Texas, the great country, or some might say the great state, you also get a free track membership to NASA when you buy a the GR edition of the Supra, the Corolla, or the GR86. So that's where they actually get in the car with you and teach you how it's meant to be driven as engineers intended. Now, these start at $31,135. They say that, quote, second only to the Miata in price, the rear-wheel drive Toyota GR86 sports car starts at $29,495. It comes with a naturally aspirated 2.4-liter flat 4 with a bit more horsepower than the Mazda, 228 and 180 foot-pounds of torque, plus an option of a 6-speed manual, or if you feel dead inside, the automatic. Kidding, I did that last part. Rear-wheel drive is a standard affair, but you don't have to settle for a fixed roof. Small price to pay otherwise for a stellar sports car, which, again, the only caveat I have for that is reliability, or lack thereof. I really debated one of these. I drove the Subaru BRZ a couple years ago when I was evaluating, my new car when I was in a circumstance where I needed a new car. And in that case, again, the horsepower is allegedly there. They have some foot-pound of torque, more than a DeWalt drill, maybe on par with Milwaukee. I'm really partially exaggerating. They're really boring a straight line. The Honda, to me, has a little bit more get up and go to it. But when I'm on the track, we'll go back and forth between, me and, these. Also the sister to the used to be the Scion FRS a couple years ago. Again, great track toy, but just don't expect to be thrown back into your seat unless you do an aftermarket turbo kit or really do some upgrades to it. Now, that being said, I'm a little biased, but I think best bang for your buck, Honda Civic SI. Now, it is disappointing they only come in a four-door option these days, which, I mean, not just, I understand it's an increase in functionality, but it's a little bit bigger. It's aesthetically speaking, kind of looks like a bastardized Audi. It looks okay, but I think the Gen 10 Honda Civic Si looked a lot better in terms of differentiated itself from the standard Honda Civic. This one barely looks better. I mean, you really have to be an enthusiast to know the difference, which I also think that's why the Chevy SS failed years ago, because it looked too similar to the average eye to the Chevy Malibu, but I partially digress. Going to the Honda Civic Si, looks like they now start at, ouch, $33,190, which I don't know. Or sorry, $31,400, which I don't know. I'm spoiled. I got mine pre-pandemic back in 2018. Mine was about $26,000 for a new Civic Si. Love my little mean green machine. And yeah, $31,000. Again, I know inflation, money isn't worth what it used to be thanks to the ineptitudes and or corruption of the U.S. government left and right. But yeah, for 31 grand, I think this is going to be the best bang for buck on the whole list, because it's got, again, it's not fancy hybrid or any of that crap. It's something that's time tested and proven. A 4-cylinder engine from Honda. I mean, Soichiro Honda founded the company making engine, cylinder rings and motorcycles. This is reliable. It's fun. And the consumables are not too bad. HondaParts.com is a great place to get the rotors. My last rotors were a few $100 for the front and a couple hundred for the rear. Brake pads aren't too bad. Those are gonna be less than 200 for carbon, aftermarket, carbon ceramic. Or there's I forget the particular makeup. I get the Hawk brake pads for my Gen 10 Civic for track days, and I don't take them off, so every day drive with them. But yeah, great. The only thing I would recommend doing if you take this from production to the track for safety, I would get aftermarket brake fluid, or Castrol racing fluid, where every brake fluid will boil eventually because you're getting that heat up. You want one that will boil at a much higher temperature, so that way after a couple laps you don't have squishy brakes. Which, spoiler alert, if you have the factory, they will. I would also upgrade the brake pads, because yeah, if you have factory brake pads, you got a pretty, again, if you get into tracking it, you're going to get a pretty heavy kick or a pretty heavy brake foot, and you're going to hit that brake pedal pretty hard. Definitely want to swap those out for aftermarket. Personally, I use Hawk brake pads. I was going to say, not a paid endorsement, just a fan. My racing buddies that are much more tenured and knowledgeable with the sport and the hobby, they recommended that for my car. But yeah, in terms of taking that'd be a fun track the way as is. I just do those two changes. And again, it's $31,400. Yes, you have to pay the extortion tax. Now, I would never pay above MSRP for Honda Civic Si. During the pandemic, my local dealership, again, great service guys, very polite. They don't oversell me too much in terms of my tech. However, the management team and the sales staff, they had a $10,000 over MSRP for the Si market adjustment and $15,000 above MSRP for the Type R. So again, I think at MSRP, it's a pretty damn good car. You'll smile. It only comes with a stick shift. I do admire Honda doing that with the Si trim. And unfortunately, it is now the only option you get for stick shift, since Honda's consolidated that. So again, if you want to have fun and smile ear to ear, it's hard to beat a Civic Si. It's a little disappointing. The horsepower isn't too much greater than the previous generation. I mean, it's actually 5 horsepower less, although who's counting? Mine's 205. Although I do have a K&N sticker on the side quarter panel window, so I'm pretty sure that's 300 horsepower. Pretty sure the folks on Reddit, that's how it works, they said. But in all seriousness, again, for 32 grand, right under there, I'm pretty sure it's a good deal. And they say, quote, starting over just 31 grand, the Si has a turbocharged 1.5 liter 4-cylinder engine, making 200 horsepower, 192 foot-pound of torque. Is down on the power compared to the earlier sporty 4 doors, but it comes with a limited slip differential, 6-speed manual transmission, customized drive mode, which it is nice to have the drive mode that's a little bit sportier. You do feel the differences with the not just the turning, but the engine, accelerate. It is pretty good drive mode. You also have 18-inch rims, and it says, without skimping on the creature comforts like the Bose sound system, which, I would skip on that personally, but I think that's probably one of the best bang for your bucks. You also have the Volkswagen GTI, which Volkswagen, of the things they make, it's probably one of the only few good things I would actually buy. Now, this starts at $33,190, and they say, quote, the iconic Volkswagen GTI is still alive and kicking. The hot hatch starts at $33,190. It comes with a turbocharged 2-liter, making 241 horsepower and 272 foot-pound of torque. It comes standard with a 7-speed dual clutch. Ew. Since VW killed the manual transmission because they're morons. Well, I did that last part. And the power travels exclusively through the front wheels, which, again, that's actually advantageous if you have wet weather. That's where actually my car excels at the track. And or if I'm driving against Mustangs, because they usually spend a disproportionate amount of their time, off the track sitting in the embankment because they spin off, but I partially jest. Yeah, that's the most disappointing thing. Again, the GTI previously has been one of my favorite hot hatches that I kind of aspired to someday own. But yeah, the fact that it's dual again, I know it's faster, you get the automatic transmission, but would you rather have a steak with a professional Gordon Ramsay on the actual grill, or do you want a microwave? I always like that metaphor talking about manuals versus automatics. So yeah, since it's only got two pedals, I know it's only 33 grand, or that's actually too much. Yeah, I'd say it's not worth it. Now, if you don't like the styling of the Toyota 86, you do have the Subaru BRZ, which, yeah, spoiler, is exactly the same thing. And actually, no, so that's $33,380 for the Subaru BRZ. So that's fine. If you want to pay a premium for the Subaru logo, which I do appreciate, the Subaru is one of the last brands dedicated to the stick shift. They sold the most only second to the Honda Civic in terms of total sales of stick shifts. Subaru WRX is right there. Now, again, I wouldn't pay a premium of, what is it, about $2,000 more than the Toyota 86 versus this. Also, the Toyota, you get the free track membership for a year and the free track day, which, again, I think that's some value. I mean, shoot, how much should I pay for that per year? It's not outrageous, but it's a nice little bonus they give you. For this, I mean, there's just no reason to buy it. Again, so they say, they even admit the article, the Subaru BRZ and the GR86 are essentially identical. The two coupes share the same platform and the same 2.4-liter boxer engine with 228 horsepower and 184 foot-pound of torque. The BRZ, though, has a Subaru Starlink infotainment system and EyeSight driver's assistance technology, even with manual, which is also known as trash. So you're paying more for a little infotainment system which a true driver would not give a damn about. I mean, if you look at the actual true driving enthusiasts, they actually pay extra to remove things like the radio and air conditioning to decrease the weight of the vehicle. In this case, it also has I think it's the active stop technology that Subaru likes to brag about, where if there's something in front of you that's too close, the car will actually automatically brake your car, which you gotta remember to turn off because it's actually dangerous on a track. Since again, you're usually right up as the youth might say, up on each other's grill when you're going back and forth. So it's actually a safety issue of this being a thing on the track, ironically enough. Now, they say, and if you want a fancy, the Subaru BRZ TS offers a more track-focused STI suspension, Brembo brakes, and a leather suede interior, which that starts at 33,380, then goes up to 37,530, which I did make a mistake. For some reason, I thought they had the Subaru STI model for the BRZ. They don't. The top trim level for the Subaru BRZ is the TS, which that comes with all that extra stuff. You might wonder, what's it missing? It's got great great suspension. You got the Brembo brakes. They're awesome. Great way to stop your vehicle. But yeah, it's missing an engine. Because again, traditionally, one of the best cars out there is a WRX, not for reliability, but for fun. But the STI, which is what everyone realistically buys when they want the fun, well, it comes with a bigger, more powerful engine. In this case, you don't get that. So it's nice to have a little extra suspension and stuff, but disappointing. So again, is it worth the $2,000 more? To me, hell no. I mean, it's the same vehicle. You get, what is it, a couple of extra pieces of tech, which enthusiasts would never want. So to me, waste of money. Now you do have the iconic Mustang. Now, this is the Ford Mustang EcoBoost Fastback, which, yeah, that's a pretty long title. Aesthetically speaking, looks pretty good and is commendable that Ford did win the Pony Wars, since the new Camaro will apparently be a two-door EV SUV, and the Charger is now going to be a straight 6 twin turbo or an EV. Yeah, safe to say that Ford won the Pony War. Now they say, quote, and it starts at $33,515. The Ford Mustang is a muscle car icon and still is affordable, one to boot. They say, quote, the Pony car starts at $33,515 for the base Mustang EcoBoost Fastback. Is a turbocharged 2.3-liter four-cylinder that makes 315 horsepower, not too shabby, and 350 foot-pound of torque, even better, significantly more than the Mazda and Toyota sports car. It comes with a standard 10-speed automatic rear-wheel drive, okay, but no manual transmission. What a lost business opportunity for Ford. So silly. And again, Jim Farley, the CEO of Ford, is very dedicated. He's actually a sports car driver. He's a track guy. I mean, he's dedicated. He said no matter what the other companies do, he'll always have an affordable V8 sports car. I appreciate that. And the stick shift. He's awesome. I really wish they had a stick shift for this one. Because again, a stick shift sports car for under $35,000, that's a rare thing. And the demand is out there. People are willing to buy stick shifts. They love them. I know it's not a majority market in the United States especially, but I mean, just a little research, development, and manufacturing to get that option for them. I don't know. Let me in the comments. If I had a little extra jingle in my pocket, I wouldn't mind getting Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting a stick shift four banger Mustang. I know it's a little, some might say it's an abomination because it's not a V8 Mustang, which, yeah, I understand that perspective, and I partially agree actually. But yeah, you have to save a lot of money to, remember for the repairs, but still interesting. The entry level Mustang, not too bad. To me, yeah, you should, that, back in the day, I know inflation's a pain, but it'd be nice if that was a V8 at, 33 or 35, but still. You also have the Subaru WRX, which is great, but give us the STI like we all want. Which again, that would be the bigger engine, as well as the Brembo brakes and all the fun stuff. Apparently, they're bringing back the Subaru WRX STI automatic only, which is an abomination to the brand, and every enthusiast just dies a little inside when they say that. But I do give Subaru WRX kudos to being the #1 stick shift vehicle sold, second to only the Honda Civic. I mean, I had no idea the take rate. The take rate is in the 86%, I believe. Like 86% of all Subaru WRXs come with a stick shift. It's the #1 take rate. That, again, little exclusion for the Toyota Corolla GR, which is only offered as a stick shift. Of all the vehicles that has an option of stick shift versus automatic, the WRX has the king for that take rate. So I greatly appreciate them. I know they're especially popular in like climates like Colorado, or areas like Colorado with inopportune climates, so you have snow and ice and sleet and all that kind of stuff. Now, this starts at only $33,855. And they say, quote, the Subaru WRX is only a little bit more expensive than Honda Civic SI, yet gets a lot more horsepower. The base WRX starts at, again, $33,855, comes with a standard turbocharged 2.4-liter four-cylinder engine, making 271 horsepower and 258 foot-pound of torque, paired with a 6-speed manual transmission, or CVT. We know what we're getting here. Buyers in this market, for more practical performance, can opt for the WRX TS, which gets upgraded Brembo brakes and revised suspension and steering, but that version starts at $46,875, so that's a pretty penny to say the least. And again, when I was looking at cars to get, I seriously contemplated the Subaru, the BRZ to a certain extent, but the WRX as well. And it's a lot. It is a lot. You feel the torque right off the line, especially if you go to the STI option, which again isn't available right now. It was in 2018 when I was looking around, or 2018 model year. But yeah, it is a really fun car. You can really feel acceleration, and it's hard to beat that. Now, the only caveat is the reliability. It's not Toyota. It's not Honda. It's going to break at a much higher frequency than the other vehicles. So that's the only downside to this, is put some money aside for repairs because they will very much be needed. Now, they say that Jetta GLI is the next one. So that's the Volkswagen Jetta GLI. Now, that starts at $33,940. Now, do give them some credit. That does come with a 6-speed manual transmission option. So it makes me smile ear to ear that they still have that option. This starts at $33,940. Now, they say, quote, the Jetta GLI is a VW sedan alternative to the GTI hot hatch. It packs a turbocharged 2-liter, 228 horsepower and 258 foot-pound of torque. Your choice of a 6-speed manual transmission or feeling dead inside, which would subsequently be a 7-speed dual clutch. The GLI got a modest update for 2025, including an exterior facelift and some interior tweaks. And they say it's one of the most affordable sporty cars out there, which, yeah, not too shabby. But again, it's a Volkswagen, which used to be a lot more respected. These days, it's just not as reliable as the competition. I'd just always be paranoid about that. Now, the opposite of that is the Acura, which does have a lot of reliability because obviously it's Honda's luxury brand. Now, this is just the regular base Integra, which I don't really consider it a sports car. It's sporty, but yeah, we're going to skip that. That's not really a sports car. Mini Cooper S. I forgot. I'm pretty sure they killed the stick shift, so it's already really boring. They say the Mini Cooper S isn't exactly the hottest hatchback in the world, powered by a 2.4-liter turbocharged inline-4, makes only 201 horsepower and 221 foot-pound of torque. I don't know, 33. Yeah, right under $35,000. Yeah, I'm not getting a Mini Coupe. You also have the Mazda 3 Turbo, which, I was gonna say it's kind of a sporty, but not really. It's automatic only. Again, almost $35,000. Has a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder engine. Got 250 horsepower. Maybe it's just me. It's too big. Yeah, let's not count that either. The Hyundai Elantra N. Now that one, it's got copious amounts of. I was gonna say it's got so many folds in it. It looks like origami. Actually, in a good way. It's kind of growing on me. I kind of like the indents on the side too, on the passenger and driver doors. Now, let's say the Hyundai Elantra N is a feisty 4-door sports sedan with a turbocharged 2-liter that makes 276 horsepower and 289 foot-pound of torque, paired with either a 6-speed manual transmission or an 8-speed dual clutch. Unlike Subaru's sports sedan, though, the Elantra N is only available in front-wheel drive. They say that Hyundai updated the Elantra N for 2024. The 2025 model year carries over unchanged with the starting price of, getting a little pricey for me, $35,445. Now, that being said, of all things Hyundai makes, yeah, if I had to buy Hyundai, I'd be getting that, bar none. That is a pretty fun one. I also have the Toyota GR Corolla, which I used to have slightly more admiration for because it used to only come in a stick shift, like the Ford Focus ST and the Ford Focus RS. There's a couple cars where they know, like, this is for enthusiasts. We're only going to make it a stick shift. And if you have the privilege of driving these vehicles, you got to learn the awesome, rare, dying skill of being able to drive a stick shift. Now, the only issue is this is the price point as well as the dealership markups. So the Toyota Corolla GR, or GR Corolla, starts at $39,995, which, again, I know money isn't worth as much as it used to be, but for me, it's just, to me, that's just too expensive to be an entry-level sports car. Now, they say the Toyota Corolla GR is one of the most exciting cars on this list. It's a 5-door hatchback with an all-wheel drive option that has a 3-cylinder turbocharged engine making 300 horsepower and 293 foot-pound of torque. 6-speed manual used to be the only gearbox, but Toyota added an 8-speed automatic, which can't believe people are buying. It starts at $39,000, right under $40,000. Again, you're going to the extortion tax, the registration tax, and also the dealer markup. Some dealers are wanting, $5 to $10,000 over MSRP, which to me completely gets rid of the that's just, $5, $10,000 over. I would never pay that. That loses all value to me. I don't know. If this was $32,000, $33,000, I think this would be the winner, bar none, bang for your buck. Now, the issue is some people are having issues with warranty claims for this, and these things bursting into flames. So Toyota needs to, I think address the elephant in the room with those. We'll see how that, gets hammered out long term. Now, I also have the Nissan Z, which allegedly exists. I drive now, and it might be a little biased because I live near the Toyota headquarters or within the region. So there's a lot of Toyota employees who probably get discounts. Maybe that's why I see so many Toyota Supras, especially on the track. I've seen one Nissan Z in the wild. It was a grocery store. There's a nice mom and pop couple who I actually, I love them if I could look inside it. It looks pretty good. Not bad bang for your buck, but they just passed the Supra for sales, allegedly. No one sees these things. Now, I think the issue is the price point. Again, the dealerships, I look online when I'm, doing the old fashioned, looking at cars.com and autotrader.com and, doing the window shopping. And the dealerships still want a couple grand, if not $5 to $10,000 over MSRP, which to me, no, I'm not paying $55,000 for Nissan Z. I would never do that. I'm way too frugal. I don't think the value is there. Now, uniquely, this is the only stick shift twin turbo V6 you can get in North America, I believe, right now. There's so few left. It's sad. Styling, it looks pretty cool. It's kind of growing on me. It's it's a low bar, but it's the only thing that Nissan makes I would buy personally. Now, the price starts at $44,110. Now, they say, quote, the Nissan Z looks sharp with its retro futuristic styling outside and modern cabin, but those who look come at a price. The Nissan Z starts at $44,110. Twin turbocharged 3-liter V6 powers the rear wheels, delivering 400 horsepower and 300 foot-pound of torque. 18-inch wheels and LED headlights are standard with either 6-speed manual or 9-speed automatic gearbox. You can get the more powerful Nismo or Z Nismo. That'll cost $66,890, which also comes in automatic only, which to me takes away the whole spirit of a track car personally. Yes, I know they're not as fast, but infinitely more fun with the third pedal. Yeah, to me, this bang for your buck, I'm not choosing the Nissan Z, though. Let me know if you think differently in the comments. You also have the Volkswagen Golf R, which, it's going to say, that one's also automatic only. That starts at $46,890. No one's getting that. Let me change that. 10 people will get that. Now, a little biased. I think this one's awesome. The Honda Civic Type R, which, if you can get it at list price, maybe. Now, again, this is the best trim level, the best version of the Civic you can get. Now, they say the Type R is the Civic's ultimate form and far more expensive than the SI sibling. Because remember, the SI is was it 31 or 32? This starts at $47,045 plus the extortion tax that dealers do with the markup. My killer dealer still wants like $10,000 over MSRP, which no one is paying. There's a really good forum on Facebook, or the Facebook, as I call it. It's Civic R owners or Civic Type R group. And frequently in that group, they'll actually tell you which dealerships in the US will sell at list price. And at list price, I think is a pretty good value. Though, again, I don't know, it's so much money for a Honda. And I love my Honda. I've had my Honda since it was new. I got about 82,000 miles on it. I've loved every second and every downshift and upshift that car. Now, they say, quote, however, it makes 315 horsepower and 310 foot-pound of torque from its turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder engine. A 6-speed manual is the only available gearbox, while stomping power comes from 4-piston Brembo front brakes. It looks meaner too, and a far more prominent grille opening, a hood vent, and a sizable rear spoiler. Again, it cost $47,045 plus markup. Again, it is probably one of the best track toys, and you see them from time to time in the track. They're not too popular. A couple guys in my class had them last time I was there, and the styling looks pretty good. I think they're kind of just taking a step back. The Gen 10 Honda Civic Type R, that was probably had about half of the AutoZone store just taped on it, or so it seemed, with all the goofy accessories, all the goofy lines. It looked over accessorized out on the outside, almost like too much like a toy. This one is much more subtle. I mean, I think they could have styled it slightly more. Again, an enthusiast will spot this pretty easily. Average person will maybe notice it's a little bit different than Honda Civic, but yeah, if you can get it for list price, yeah, I think this would be a great daily driver too. Obviously, it's got 4 doors, plenty of room for groceries, whatever you need to put in there, your golf clubs, your rifle cases, which is kind of my parameter when I was buying a new car. Will it fit my rifle case? Love the Ford Focus ST, but it would not, in fact, fit my rifle case. And also, I wanted to make sure I can get to work and back. And yeah, Ford usually can't do that too often. So yeah, that was pretty good. You also have the Ford Mustang GT, which that looks actually pretty good. They're growing on me. Now that gets a little too pricey for me. It's $48,155. Now they say, quote, moving up from the EcoBoost to the Mustang GT unlocks a 5-liter V8 with 486 horsepower and rear-wheel drive. A 6-speed manual transmission is standard, as they should all be by default. However, you can also get a 10-speed automatic. It is also available for extra $1,595. It's still not the most powerful pony car, though. That track-focused Dark Horse is at 500 horsepower. Now those start at like $61,000. You also have one of my favorite vehicles, the Cadillac CT4V, although that's actually, bang for your buck. Just spend the money for the Blackwing. If you're getting the Cadillac, just go a little bit more. Now, this is, again, the CT4V. It's not the Blackwing. The Blackwing is the real track-focused one. That one has a Brembo brakes the size as your foot and a great manual transmission. My buddy let me drive his a couple times. It is so much fun. Now, they say, quote, while the high-powered CT4V Blackwing gets all the attention, I mean, it says costs over $60,000. He has a reason for that. All the better things are on it. You can still snag the CT4 with a V badge that isn't nearly as pricey. The version packs a turbocharged 2.74 4-cylinder engine, making 325 horsepower and 380 foot-pound of torque. Which gets it to 0 to 60 in 4.5 seconds. You also can only get an automatic transmission. Yeah, spend the money for the Blackwing. That one you get the V6 twin turbo and you get the stick shift option, which is so successful. The take rate for that is about 50%. So 50% of all CT4V Blackwing and even the CT5V Blackwing, which that one's a V8, people are choosing the stick shift. For this one, yeah, this is not a good bang for your buck. You're getting a Cadillac CT4V. You're basically $50,000 for a 4-cylinder and 325 foot horsepower. Yeah, that is a terrible deal, personally. Again, I'm pretty frugal. We'll see if I ever actually buy a new car again, but it's like, yeah, just for 20% more, ballparking the numbers here. Yeah, get the Blackwing. You'll be a lot happier. You'll smile ear to ear. You get more horsepower. You actually get the racing Brembo brakes. It is, yeah, the Blackwing is just the marvel engineering you want. If you want an actual sports car, get that. I would not call this a sports car. It's a sporty-ish car, but I'm not going to count it. Let me know if you think differently, though. You also have the Audi S3, which, I don't know why it looks like a cheap Chinese car for some weird reason from that angle. That starts at $5 under $50,000, $49,995. It says if you're in the market for a fancier GTI with 4 doors instead of 5, the Audi S5 has a higher output turbocharged 4-liter, making 428 horsepower and 295 foot-pound of torque. It comes in all-wheel drive standard, and doesn't come with a 7-speed automatic transmission. And yeah, actually wouldn't count that as a sports car either. So if I won the lottery, if money was not a factor, so I could buy any one of these and not worry about the price point, I mean, for reliability, fun, standard stick shift, gotta go Honda Civic Type R for sportiest more entry-level sports car for 2025. But let me know your thoughts. Which one of these would you choose? Because as always, be fascinated to hear what you have to say. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, try to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month. So if you can click that button, I greatly appreciate it. Also, give me a thumbs up, thumbs down, or comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback. letting me know how I can make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.